Just take a guess at where I am. This isn't Africa, it's not even London. I'm bang smack in the heart of Aberdeen, where a thriving population of Nigerians has come here this morning to worship. This is the Redeemed Christian Church of God, the Nigerian church in Aberdeen. I'm standing in a balcony at the moment. The choir are just practicing before going downstairs to the service proper. And there's kids playing all over the place. Really brightly coloured dresses. Type of fabrics that I've seen in Africa. It's just everything so colourful and so joyful, to be honest. I'm Mark Stephen. Welcome to our story.
I've dressed in a kilt before, and I put it on my Facebook page, and I said, Black Scottish man. I looked radiant in that cloth. I love
it. So fit like in Igbo, which is a tribe that I come from, it's Kedukidi. Nebad for us is Odimma. So it's Kedukidi, Odimma.
It's really nice, gizzard.
Is it?
You don't eat gizzard, don't you?
Listen, we're not in a position to throw stones. We eat haggis. So,
shall I make some? I can put some in.
Yeah, you're all right. It's, goodness only knows it's a kind offer, but... Aberdeenshire is home to Scotland's largest population of expat Nigerians, about 3,500. Now, that might seem unusual to you, but it's been happening a long time. Nigerians have been coming to Aberdeen for over 100 years, primarily for education, but more recently attracted by the oil industry.
You have a mix of all professionals who came here on transfer, all professionals who got job after being trained in Scotland, and students who are doing their postgraduate and undergrad, and their kids. One big industry that drives Nigeria is academics. You want to get your first degree, you want to get your second degree, you want to get your PhD. It's the norm in Nigeria to get degrees, to get trained. You will be one to always be the best.
A lot of the students are working in petroleum geosciences, working in business studies, doing MBAs. In the law school, we have a lot of Nigerian students who are looking at contract law in relation to oil and gas. Most of them now are actually looking in engineering, in the science subjects, but very, very strong numbers still, about 400 a year.
Dr. Hilary Homans is the Director for the Centre for Sustainable Development at the University of Aberdeen. Now, engineering science subjects may be very popular at the university today, but it was actually the medical school that drew early students from Nigeria.
The first recorded information we have is about a student, Nathaniel Thomas King, who was born in Ibadan in Nigeria. And he came to the university and graduated in medicine in 1876. And I think this has been really the strength of the university because it is one of the oldest medical schools in the UK.
Of course, this was something of a two-way street. Yes, Nigerian students were coming to Aberdeen, but a number of Scots were also going out to Nigeria.
William McGregor was born at Towie in 1846, and he was educated in medicine and went on to become the governor of Lagos. John Anderson was born in Gartley in 1858, and he became very big in the colonial office of the United Kingdom. You have Mary Slessor's face on the £10 note. She was born in 1848 in Belmont Street, which is right in the centre of Aberdeen, and she went on to become a missionary. She went out to Nigeria in the 1890s, and Nigerians, when they come to Aberdeen, are quite intrigued to see that that history has gone on for so long.
History may well be fascinating, but it won't keep you warm, and it must be a real shock to the system, to a Nigerian, to arrive here in cold, dark Scotland.
It was so windy, it was cold. I was like, God, water was just coming out of my eyes. My daughters were all shaking. And I'm like, oh no, I don't think I'll be able to stay here.
Back at home, it's full of colour. Go to homes in Nigeria and there's a whole street of houses of different colours. When I arrived here, I always used to wonder why all the houses grey.
In Nigeria, it gets dark, let's say, around 7 o'clock. But over here, during winter, by 3 o'clock, it gets dark. It's like the day has ended. In Nigeria, we're trained with day and night. But over here, during summer, 9 o'clock, as in you still have the sun. I've adjusted to that, but I know some people still struggle.
The Redeemed Christian Church of God started in 1952 back in Nigeria, and now there are 40 to 50 churches across Scotland. This church, the City of God Church in Aberdeen, was established 10 years ago, and since then another 7 have opened in the Aberdeen area. The congregation here on a Sunday can be anywhere between 300 to 400. Dr. Mark Igihon is a lawyer in the oil and gas industry. He also happens to be the senior pastor here. When he first arrived in Aberdeen, he was really surprised to see the decline in interest in religion amongst Aberdonians.
I could see already that churches were being closed down. Over half of the churches in Aberdeen City Centre closed down and sold off. When Africa needed the gospel, we still need the gospel now. People left from here, including Mary Slessor, who did great work in what is now eastern part of Nigeria. But now God is sending missionaries, and not just from Africa, from Korea, other places back here. Right now, we don't have as many white faces and native Scots and other Europeans would like. That's increasing. One of the things we started doing was going out on the streets to have music concerts, so in front of the city square, and people just began, oh, this is gospel music. People began to relate to it and come to us and began to say, this is nothing strange or spooky. It's just gospel.
When Mark arrived here in Aberdeen back in 2003, there were very few home comforts available.
In the early days, there was no African shop, so we couldn't get any African food stuff that we like. At that time, there was an African restaurant. So the lady, she was like the hub of the African community. So when she's ordering stuff from London for her restaurant, she orders for everyone. So that was how we were surviving. And then whenever any of us go down to London, we go to the shops in London and buy stock and stock and stock.
How much stock can you get in a briefcase? Yeah.
Exactly. So anytime I'm going on a business trip, I have an empty bag with me.
20 years ago, you have to go to Glasgow. If somebody is going, we all send that person, buy us plantain, buy us okra, buy us that thing. I would say there are about less than 20 Nigerians that I really know.
Gradually, as the numbers of Africans increased, the commerce followed. So we now have about 2 or 3 African shops in Aberdeen. So the resources are now available locally.
One of those Nigerian shops in Aberdeen is called The Glory, and a nice woman called Dolapo Tade Fatoroti offered to take me there on a wee bit of a shopping trip. Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
What is this?
What's what?
This lot here.
That's a breed of aubergine. That's what I would call it.
A white aubergine?
Yes, it's called Igba in Yoruba language. That's the dry fish. This catfish has been dried. It's really nice when it's been dried. It's smoked.
And those are not bananas?
And those are not bananas. Those are they're big bananas.
Big bananas.
It's plantains. You usually fry them.
You have a Nigerian speciality, well, a whole range of specialities called fufu.
Oh, what do you know about fufu?
Only that you don't have to chew it. You get to my age, that kind of thing becomes important.
But fufu is like potatoes, like potato starch. So it's not only fufu we eat. We have eba, yam, pounded yam. We have amala, different types.
You have very kindly offered to source some grub in here and then take it back, and you're going to prepare us a Nigerian meal.
Yes. I'm going to make egusi with vegetables.
Okay.
Yes. Egusi is melon seeds. They grind it to a powder form, and then I cook that as a sauce, and then I put some vegetables in it and some stockfish. Lovely.
I'll give you a hand carrying the stuff if you want to grab what you need.
Okie dokie, no problem. You have frozen ugu. Spinach. I want ugu. Okay. Sorry, I'm speaking Yoruba language.
That's all right.
That's 2042.
Okay, awesome.
Right, all get it in now is cook it.
Yes.
Dead straightforward. Well, dead straightforward for me, because all I have to do is watch.
You're going to be helping, and hopefully you'll be tasting as well.
Like Dolapo, most of the Nigerians I've met have been highly educated. It seems that for most, 1 degree simply isn't enough. So what are we looking at here? Is this an average sample, or is it an academic elite? Dolapo's husband, Bukola Fatoroti, is a senior lecturer at Robert Gordon University.
I don't want to refer to myself as an academic elite, but I just see myself as...
I think anybody with 4 to 6 degrees can justifiably refer to themselves as an academic elite. I'd buy that for $1.
Oh, well, I just see myself as a representative of an average Nigerian striving to be successful.
Every family that has a child gives to their children a higher goal. Perhaps when they've given birth to a child, they already know this one will be a doctor, that will be a lawyer. So that mindset is already there.
You look at the lives of your parents. If you are the first generation person that is educated, you know how they are suffering. Every time they will tell you, if I have the chance that you have, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now, or I wouldn't be as poor as I am now.
Many of the people who come and study here, they're funded by their parents, or people go stretch all their resources just to see their children get on in life.
It's amazing when you speak to British and Scottish students and they say, oh, they had to take a loan to come to school. And I'm like, okay, my parents paid for everything. And they're like, your parents must be very rich. I said, no, they're not very rich. It's just what they're sort of trained to do. In Africa or in Nigeria, most parents want their kids to either be doctors or engineers or lawyers. Even though I was advised by my parents on what to do, it hasn't worked out bad for me either.
You know, despite what is obviously a serious work ethic, you also get a very clear sense that the Nigerians really know how to enjoy themselves.
It's a colorful culture, it's a colorful environment. You have different cultures, different tribes, and they all have their own different attires. We have different costumes and clothes that we wear. We wear a lot of colors back home and a lot of different designs, totally different from what you have here. It's more of a community-based type environment. In Nigeria, I know my neighbors. Unfortunately, that's the thing I miss here. Here in Scotland, you don't really know that much of people around you.
If I was living on this street, I probably would know my neighbors 10 blocks away. And that normally becomes quite evident when we're having celebrations. You're probably obliged to join the party, and you don't have to have an invitation. At a party, there could be anything up to 500 people. People who know you, people who know people who know you, friends, workers, so we even sometimes block the street.
And once a year, weather permitting, so you can imagine how often that happens, a Nigerian party takes place at Balmidi Beach near Aberdeen.
At the beach, we come in with different food. We have this thing we call suya. It's beef. It's done like barbecue. We have roasting of corn, different thing. The Nigerian kind of food, everything, African food. It's lovely there with colorful attires, native Nigerian, African dressing. You know, you come in there, you see it's so colorful. The music is going on, you know, and we are busy dancing African music. And we are busy. It's something we just do once in a year so we don't forget our culture. It's nice.
Every first Sunday of the year, everybody wears the Nigerian attire. And also the International School of Aberdeen, when they are doing their international parade, they will tell everyone to come in their national costume. Or sometimes when they invite the choir for an outreach, then I have opportunity to wear it again.
The ladies, some of them are wearing headgear. It's like a turban type thing.
The headgear is called gele. Then some of them, we have the one they call Iro and Buba. So they have different names, but there's always a common style where ladies, you know, will make these long gowns with a top and matching headgear. The Nigerian culture, everybody believes in looking good, bright and fashionable.
We have dresses.
Or traditional garb.
Oh, yeah. We wear them occasionally, you know, and of course when we wear them, they just go crazy, you know, and they love it, you see.
My name is David Imevery, and I run a company that provides and runs rhythm workshops for events. For schools, it's brilliant for enhancing cultural awareness, exposing the kids to different aspects of African culture through music. Even back at home, no matter how modern it is in Africa, no matter where they've been, there's still drumming involved. organizing an event and I'm looking for a few dancers, and I come across this group. One of them is a Scottish girl. This is purely Nigerian dance. If you see her, I'm not sure I can dance as well as she can, as a Scottish girl, like Nigerian ladies do. So it's beautiful when you see them. Sometimes you see them in Nigerian costume, and it's lovely. So in just 10 years or so, we've come a long way. It's almost been full circle, how people have embraced the fact that, yes, this is Nigeria, this is what they're all about.
Like my friend, she's Scottish. And sometimes when she's eating my Nigerian food, she's looking at my food with jelly, you know. She loves it. She loves the pounded yam with the vegetable soup. Every time she says, jelly, don't forget it, the pounded yam. She just loves it.
I'm actually quite looking forward to trying some Nigerian food, but I'm curious, what do the Nigerians make of our stuff?
I made a point of duty to buy fish and chips every week. If I go to someone's house now, if I'm offered haggis or I'm offered stovies or anything, it'll go down well.
Yeah, the black pudding. Is it actually made of blood? Ooh. But I still like the taste and I still enjoy it.
Sometimes I tend to make it, maybe add a little bit more spices.
Such as? Give me some recipes.
Okay, say for instance, gravy. So gravy and tatties. Sometimes we make that in my house.
Nigerian mince and tatties. This I'm going to look forward to.
So yeah.
This is my kitchen. I'm going to get started. Well, like I said, I'm going to make egusi with vegetable, and I'm going to make some fufu because you kept talking about fufu. So
I just love the name.
yeah, so you're going to taste it today.
Fufu.
Yeah, you're going to taste some today. That's the Scotch bonnet with the red pepper. I'm going to use some tomatoes as well, some onions, and then we blend it.
Liquefy. Okay. Yes. You don't want it too fine.
That's going to boil for a while. This is called low-cost bean. It's a flavor enhancer. It smells awful, so get ready. And if I want to cook it, my husband would not be in the house. He wants me to get the smell out of the house before he comes back. But taste one.
Is it? Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you put some of the stock fish in.
Yes. I'm using the catfish as well, the dry catfish.
Sure. And then you've got your crayfish tails aside.
I'm going to put all of that early on. So this is the melons grounded now. I'm just going to put a bit in it.
It's beginning to smell really good. Yes. I have to say, I'm well taken by this device that you've got here. And this is obviously, whether this is for home defence or cuisine, I don't know.
It's for cuisine, it's for home defence. When we were younger,
the husband complains too much.
When we were younger, if you were really naughty, because we spank kids in Nigeria, you got this at the back of your buttocks.
What do you call this device?
Orogun. I'm going to use it later on to make the fufu.
Yeah, okay.
Stir the fufu.
Respect, good behavior, good manners. It's so ingrained into, I would say, the church culture and also the African culture as well. It's both.
They make that emphasis on respecting the elders. We have to greet them first. We give up our seats for them. We run errands for them. If you see an elder carrying something, you run and take it.
I'm laughing. I'm just thinking this morning, I've been 2 hours in church. I'm trying to think how many times I've been offered a seat, asked if something could be carried for me, etc. This has now firmly placed me as an elder. This is not making me feel good at all.
Teenagers here, they rarely have respect for older people. Like, I've seen a kid like yelling at his mom in a bus, like telling her to shut up. A Nigerian kid wouldn't do that. It's very, very different. The way you approach people, the way you talk to people.
Sometimes it's like kneeling, to them, to greet them, good afternoon, sir, ma'am, and stuff like that.
Sorry, kneeling to greet them.
Actually, the greeting is a really important part. Yeah. In Nigeria, it's crucial to say good morning when you see an older person, or to probably do a curtsy or something like that in some cultures.
I think we're going to introduce this at home. I think this is a very, very good idea. Kneel when father enters the room.
It's not socially acceptable for a married woman to go to pub and sit and drink. And the drinking culture, especially women, is not part of our culture. Going out in the night, no.
We know that our lifestyle is different. We have to stick by certain rules and principles and stuff.
Because most of the things the kids do here, you're not allowed to do it, especially for cultural reasons, and also because you're a Christian, you wouldn't want to be seen as like dressing in a very seductive way or something like that.
How about boys?
Yeah.
It's not really in our culture either, to have boyfriends and girlfriends or whatever.
Talking years hence, how do you get to the stage of getting married? If you don't have boyfriends, girlfriends, how does it work?
Well, that's where you seek the face of the Lord. That's why we're Christians. So you wait till you're of age, probably in your 20s.
Yeah, and when you know you're ready, you then pray. You ask God, please let me find my husband or whatever. And then you go through this thing called courting. You're not officially married yet, but then you at least know you're going to marry each other.
It's very clear from the teenagers that Nigerians have a very strict moral code, whatever their faith.
Every child, every individual in Nigeria is brought up in a religion. You could be Christian, you could be Muslim. It is a very important part of our own lives, and even when we come here, we continue that culture. I still go to church every Sunday, and I love going to church. It's a good time to commune with people, interact with other people of the same faith. The Muslims, they go to the mosques on I think the Fridays. Every different religion goes to commune with other people, and most of the activities are also surrounded by the same people you go to church with, you'd go for the same parties with. Us Nigerians, we like to enjoy ourselves.
We also have the religion aspect of which we meet together, interact together. So my life doesn't revolve around the Muslim community, no. It revolves around everybody.
In the mosques here, we have something like coming together, and it involves everybody. All of us are there. We eat each other's food. We play together. We don't know the difference. We just talk about family.
Muslim or Christian, we're all the same. I don't see any different, to be honest with you.
It's quite amazing that the culture that actually brought religion to Africa is the United Kingdom, Great Britain, and the likes. But somehow that culture has started to frizzle away, and I'm just surprised at it or wondering why that's changed.
In some of our other congregations in smaller towns, we've got some congregations that are 50, 70% white. For example, we've got a church in Elgin, we've got a church in Inverness. They are predominantly white. So because in a matter of time, in 10, 20 years, the church will become predominantly European. It's just because these are the early days, early years. So it's going to change.
Beyond Aberdeen, we have outposts in Stornoway. It's really nice having Nigerian song being sung with the Scottish song. Ironically, last year when we went to Stornoway, and the woman stopped one of the ladies and said, 60 years ago, there was a prophecy that gospel were brought back to the UK by Africans, and that she had lived, that what she was saying was a fulfillment of that prophecy.
So 60 years previously, someone had said, in the future, the people that we're now taking missionary outreach out to will be back here trying to reinstate Christianity.
Absolutely. I felt I was standing on the precipice of time that, so I'm actually fulfilling prophecy. That's actually the vision, the long-term vision. The roles are reversed.
My wife and I are Joan, and I'm Robert Turnbull, and we are elders of this church. We come here 7 years ago, just out of the blue, really.
I had a ladies' meeting in my house. We all heard the music outside. So we went up to the top of the street, and here the Africans had a full band, singers, music, everything. And we asked if we could join them, and they said, certainly. And all the cars were stopping, going up my street. It was amazing.
So at night she said to me, you know where we're going on Sunday? We're going to a Nigerian church. And I said, what? You must be joking, And 7 years later, we're still here and thoroughly enjoying it. It's wonderful.
So I put some palm oil in the sauce now.
And you're putting the greens in too.
And then stir it, mix it thoroughly.
The reason I got up from my seated position was it's fufu time.
Yeah. I have to be careful so that there's no lump. So you have to keep stirring it very hard, and that's where the orogo comes in handy. The stirring stick.
Yes, the stirring stick of discipline.
Yes, that's the perfect thing for it. So keep cooking. Now it's getting tougher, and that means you're nearly there.
Perfect.
Done. Do you want a big portion?
Oh, crack on.
Now, if you want to eat it the Nigerian way, you eat it with your hand. Start from the side. That makes it that will not be too hot. And then
now she tells me.
Wrap it with some. It is hot, but that's the way you eat it. Nice, isn't it?
That's very nice. That's very nice.
Take a bit of stockfish, a bit of the crayfish, a bit of the catfish.
When you work your way around it.
Yeah. So there's an explosion of flavour in your mouth. That's what it is.
Yes, I think the catfish is my favourite. I like the catfish. This has been my first encounter with the Nigerian community in Aberdeenshire. And I'd have to say, I was very, very impressed by them. They're lovely folk, tremendous sense of fun, serious work ethic. And obviously their faith is central to their lives. But I think the most impressive thing for me is that they've managed to integrate into North East life and culture while still hanging on to what makes them special, what makes them unique, who they are. And that can't be an easy thing to do. You've been listening to Our Story here on BBC Radio Scotland. If you'd like more information about this programme, then please go to our website at bbc.co.uk/Radio Scotland and then look for Our Story. Until the next time, I'm Mark Stephen. Thanks for listening.
I love Scotland. The scenery is beautiful. When I see the mountains, it reminds me of Africa. And I remember the group we went to Loch Ness. And then when we started seeing the artifacts there, the mud bed, the grinding stone, the pounding this thing. And we laugh so much. And the rest of the visitors can't see what was so funny. We say, these things, we have them in Africa. How can we travel all this way just to come and see grinding stone that we were using? So there's some things that are very, very similar.